Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Denise Williams, and I am so excited to be here. Okay, Financially Focus is all over the different ways to help you make some money on a daily basis because, the salary is important. Passive income is incredible. Trading gains are wonderful. Rental income is fantastic. I mean, there are options out there. And I am so excited to be on this journey with you. Now, I may have a little bit of technical difficulty because I see my cat on my desk. I don't know what she's up to, but we will press on. So we want to turn our attention. Oh, my kitty, kitty, kitty. Say hi, kitty. Oh my gosh. She wants some attention. All right. Okay, there you go. All right. So what we want to do is make sure, people on our platform, Financially Focused, we are really looking at the key developments that impact businesses, investors, and traders. Okay. So we want to keep up with what the companies are doing because when the companies make moves, they make money and you want to make money too. So Mayberry Investments, they swapping out their name. They got Supreme Court ruling and they'll now be known as Mayberry Group Limited. Okay. So they were Mayberry Investments and now they're Mayberry Group. And the hearing was held and gave the final order on September 28, 2023. And they're now alerting shareholders that guess what? All of the stock that you hold in the name of Mayberry Investments will be canceled, and you will then now get stock, the same number of stock as Mayberry Group Limited. Okay, and that will be the parent company of the Mayberry Group of companies. All right, moving on. Stationery and office supplies, they are racking up the real estate because their business is growing, their business is expanding, and they need more office space. So they trade under the ticker SOS. They make school textbooks, notebooks, and they supply office furniture. So they've bought their third warehouse facility, and that's valued at J100 million. So the new property located West Arcadia Avenue is actually their third warehouse space. So the managing director, Alan McDaniel, is basically saying, look, there's a consistent demand for our service and products. There's, the company's growing individually, but also the economy is growing and hard infrastructure and ongoing projects across the country says, hey, this is a time for their business to expand. There's also rising foreign direct investment in Jamaica. And so they feel very encouraged and they're expanding and making sure they have space. So now moving from company news, we're going to look at the stock markets in the Caribbean, two in particular, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago. So for the Jamaica Stock Exchange during trading on December 13, 2023, there were three top advancing stocks covering financial, education, and health sectors. Okay. So first up was the JMMB 7.25 variable rate preference shares. That moved by 22%. That equaled a 45-cent jump on the share price, and it closed at $2.49. Two shares was traded. Edufocal, and that trades under the ticker Learn, saw shares jump 15.5%, which added 25 cents to the share price. It closed at $1.86, and there was 22,750 shares traded. Medical firm G West saw its share climb by 14%. That added 12 cents to the price. It closed at 95 cents with 300,000 shares traded. Okay. Now, of course, there's declining because remember, you're making money in the stock market. You are able to ride the wave. It goes up, it goes down. So the declining stocks for December 13th looked at, those top losers was information technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods. So productive business solutions, there's 9.75% cumulative redeemable shares declined by 9.6%, fell $11.15. And it closed the day at $105 with 10 shares traded. Okay. Lasco Manufacturing declined 8.8%. That took off 41 cents off the share price. It closed at $4.22 with 40,621 shares traded. Consumer goods distributor Derrimon Trading Company declined by 7.85%, slid by 16 cents to close at $1.88 with 75,000 shares traded. Okay, so let's move over to Trinidad. Over on the Twin Island Republic, trading activity on the Trinidad and Tobago stock market on their first tier market registered a volume of 163,000 shares crossing the floor of that exchange, valued at TT $3.2 million. So Trinidad and Tobago, $3.2 million. The two leading stocks was Massey Holdings. It was the volume leader with 59,000 shares, changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago dollars 260,000. Followed by First Caribbean International Bank Limited with a volume of 39,000 shares being traded for TT 276,000. So let's jump over to foreign exchange. So we've talked about the stock markets, how you can position. So let's move over to foreign exchange report. So we're going to, look at where the movers and shakers in this market behave. So for the December 13th period, Bank of Jamaica reported US 28 million was bought from forex traders while US 26 million was sold back to forex traders. For the US dollar in particular, foreign currency traders sold the US for 156.26, and then they bought US for 154.58, and so they made a profit of $1.68. And remember, that's a profit on every single transaction, right? So it does add up. The Bank of Jamaica also looked at, handled Canadian dollar transactions and yielded a profit of $2.86 for traders because they sold the Canadian dollar for $116.80, bought the Canadian for $113.94. Over on the British trading side, currency traders made a $9.96 profit, sold the British currency for $200.62 and bought it for $190.66. Okay, so we looked at your money making opportunities in the stock market. We're looking at the forex market. Let's look at the real estate news. Close to 577 acres of undeveloped land in the corporate area of St. Andrew is going to be put on the market. The National Water Commission owns the land, and a very conservative valuation is each acre is worth 90,000 US dollars. Now, this is in the posh community of Norbrook. Okay, the National Water Commission, is inviting engineering consultants to develop a preliminary plan, a subdivision plan, and a final development plan for the area. And if you are an engineering consultant, you have until January 4, 2024 to submit the bid. Now, NWC notes that not all the lands are going to be available for development, as some do contain sensitive water assets. All right. So Let's look at the hardware industry. If you're like me, you're there all the time, fixing up, fixing up, fixing up. So Jamaica's hardware and building materials market in 2023 generates a half a billion in US in revenue based on research done by Statistia.com. As more discretionary spending shifts from household to out of home, there's an expectation that the hardware industry will continue to see, the DIY, do it yourself, and hardware store market growth return to pre pandemic levels. Researchers predict steady growth between 2023 to 2027 due to growing demand for housing and the continued desire to renovate homes. And it is projected that annual growth rate of 2.22% for that period will happen. Okay, so now we're at the credit report tip of the day. I want you to take some time to request a free copy of your credit report from each of the credit bureaus. You're entitled to one free report annually. Okay? Once you have your report, carefully review for any inaccuracies, such as incorrect account information, late payments, or accounts that don't belong to you. Remember, patience is key in the credit repair process, so celebrate each small victory along the way. So, with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. I appreciate your company. I want you to stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Okay, there's so much happening in the market. We want to make sure that you have company movements. We want to make sure you know what's happening in the stock market. We want to make sure that you're well informed in the forex currency market. We want to make sure that you understand credit repair so that you can really make the right move. So until our next update, take care. Goodbye. Have a great time. I am so excited that you spent time with me. Oh my goodness, technology is wonderful.